Well, so coming to the geotechnical design of footing, so you already know there are different types of footing that are isolated footing. Isolated footing can be either square footing or circular footing. Then there are combined footings. You already know in which situation you have to design a combined footing. So that also can be either rectangular combined footing, or it can be also trapezoidal in shape. That also you know in which situations you prefer a trapezoidal footing when you have space constraints or varying load for different columns. The varying load can be there for rectangular combined footings as well. Then there is raft foundation or mat footing, so where you have several number of columns to be supported on a single mat, right? Yeah, it maybe can be of any shape. So it can be completely square or rectangular. So depends on the from project to project. So now coming to the geotechnical design. So basically we are considering one is the shear failure criteria and the settlement criteria. So the soil should not fail in shear or the bearing capacity criteria. So it should be safe in terms of bearing capacity, and the settlement should be within the limits. So for the isolated footing, already you have learned, if say P is the load, so usually we assume footing weight, no, that is 10% of the column load. So whatever is the column load P plus 10% of the column load, so that will be your total load. So divided by SBC will give you the area of foundation required, or we can say the total load divided by area of foundation should be less than or equal to safe bearing capacity of the soil. It should not exceed the bearing, the pressure coming from the superstructure to the soil should not exceed the safe bearing capacity of the soil. So that is how the Q means nothing but I had given a different notation for the P plus 0.1 P. So you can get the area of foundation required is Q by SBC, right? Now if you have a rectangular combined footing where you have two different loads, say P1 and P2, so let me draw a little bigger. So if you have a rectangular combined footing, with loads P1 and P2, and size, say let this be L and this be B, and this size also can be different for column to column. So let us say this is B1, this is B2, the column size, and the footing size LB. So what is that the structural designer will give you? The structural designer will actually define the spacing between the columns. So that is the part of the structure, and what is the load for each column, that also will be given by the structural engineer. And this spacing, this center to center spacing between the center to center spacing between the column, center to center spacing between the column, so let us call it as a, say, a small l. The center to center space between the columns is already defined by the structural engineer, and the column size also defined by the structural engineer, and the column load is also given by the structural engineer. Well, so as a geotechnical engineer, we are supposed to find out what should be the width, what should be the length, and also what should be the spacing from the edge of the footing to the center or edge of the first column. Let us call it, say, A1. And similarly, from here to, from the center of the column 2 to the other edge of the footing, let us call it A2. So which are the parameters that a geotechnical engineer has to estimate? Length, breadth, A1 and A2. These 4 parameters we have to find out. So that is basically called as the dimensioning or sizing of the footing or geotechnical design of the footing. Now, the total load is P1 plus P2, P1 plus P2 plus 10% of the total column loads has to be taken as the weight of the footing. So that is weight of footing, right? So the safe bearing capacity already you will get it from maybe through analytical procedures using Terzaghi's Meyerhof theory, or through SPT correlations, or through plate load test. So that will be already available with you after the soil geotechnical investigation. So as soil investigation is completed, after that we are going to design the footing. So SBC is already available with you. So total load divided by SBC will give you the area of footing required. So AF is known. So area of footing is nothing but area of footing is B into L. So this is your equation number 1. Now for a rectangular footing, your center of gravity will be acting at a center itself. But in a trapezoidal footing, it will not be at the center. For a rectangular footing, the center of gravity will be exactly at the center point, right? So this is your P1, this is your P2. So you can take moment about the center of the first column. Say from the center of gravity, the distance to the first center of the first column is, say, let us say it is x bar. So if you take moment about the center of first column, so center of gravity means your P1 plus P2 will be acting at center of gravity. So P1 plus P2 is acting at center of gravity multiplied with the distance to center of first column. So P1 plus P2 into x bar is equal to, you have P2 here, P2 into L, small l, that is the distance from the point of action of P2 to the center of first column. So P2 into L, and P1 you need not take separately because that is acting exactly at that point itself. So distance is 0. So P1 plus P2 x bar is equal to P2 into L. This is your equation number 2. Now A1 and A2 also you need to find out. So you know A1 plus x bar, A1 plus x bar is equal to, A1 plus x bar is nothing but L by 2. And similarly, if you write A2 plus L minus x bar is also equal to L by 2. So you have these equations with you. So you have 4 equations and 4 unknowns. So I think all unknowns can be calculated from this. Anyway, you can give a try. So try yourself. I will give you a problem in the next class, so maybe I will post it, so you can try to solve that using this approach. So let us stop here, and next class we will discuss about the design of trapezoidal footing, and this is only the geotechnical design. After geotechnical design is completed, we will move on to the structural design, so of the starting with isolated footing. But here in geotechnical design, this is only one part. The settlement part, already you have learned about the immediate settlement and consolidation settlement. So you can revise that, refresh that, and we will try to solve couple of problems based on the settlement calculation. So that is same approach, that already you know about immediate settlement QB into 1 minus mu square by ES, and consolidation settlement about CC by 1 plus E naught into H log sigma naught plus delta sigma by sigma naught. So anyway, that same equation what you learned in your undergraduate soil mechanics will be applied to calculate the settlement. And in layered soils, sandy soils, clay soils with the different parameters, layered soil, how to calculate. So all those things already you know. So something new is about this actually. Geotechnical design means that based on the bearing capacity criteria, how to do the sizing of the footing. So fine. So next class we will discuss about trapezoidal design of footing. Thank you.